Joining me today is Alex Munoz of the Straight Up program and Jorgina Sunn, member of Straight Up. I've invited them today to give us a bit of background. Alex is new to the role of the executive director position of Straight Up. No stranger to the program as Father Andrei Polyev, who started it a number of years ago. Both of you, welcome to Connect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Alex, maybe we'll start with you and give us a
Sure.
bit of background of Straight Up and where it came from and where it's been tracking here the past couple of years.
Sure. So, Straight Up began about 17 years ago, and it was through the work of Father Andre Polovier, who had been working with corrections at that time, and he was a chaplain in the corrections, and he was approached by two members, gang members, who wanted to get out of the gang, and they asked him exactly, how do we get out? And he didn't have an answer. So he looked at them and he was brutally honest with them and he said, I don't have an answer how to get out of a gang. But you know what? We're going to find out. And with that began the birth of Straight Up. And for the last decade and a half now, it's been primarily run mostly by volunteers. And so I would say we officially began as a formal organization a few years ago when we got nonprofit status. So as part of Straight Up, what we do is we help ex-gang members liberate themselves from the effects of gangs and gang violence within themselves and their families. And we do that through a unique model. We do that through a sharing circle model that we approach, focusing primarily a lot on the values that they have inside.
When we have a number of people over the years who seem to ebb and flow, they maybe belong to the gang and try and work their way out. What historically is a pattern? Do they look for something when they're in the gang, and do they look for something when they're leaving?
Well, I believe, and this is based on a lot of the gang members that were ex-gang members that we've have as part of our membership. It's a sense of feeling unity or family ownership. And a lot of times this has been abandoned in their lives. And so that sense of being wanted and doing something as a group is that gang mentality, that gang lifestyle. What that looks like, though, is it's very dysfunctional, though. And we focus on that as this is not, quote unquote, a normal lifestyle. And thus Straight Up actually focuses on restructuring or reforming somebody's point of view from where they were in the past and how that looks now. And so Gina exactly is an example of that.
Well, maybe we'll ask you and invite you into the conversation now and tell us a little bit about your background and what the program's done for you.
All right. I've been a part of Straight Up since 2011. And in that time, we have conditions that we offer to the people who come to Straight Up. Those conditions are based around dropping your colors, which is basically removing yourself from the game and gang, and then making the commitment to want to, change your life. Then we offer an idea of becoming honest, and ultimately how that starts with self, and then moving into humility. So basically, we have to drop the street attitude and. Don't swear as much as we used to, maybe.
Yep.
Basically become healthy, responsible people. So whether it's, getting a license, getting ID, getting a place to live, paying your bills, maintaining a job. A lot of our members are parents, so it's either making that reconnection with your children or perhaps, learning parenting skills. For myself, coming into Straight Up was about changing my perception. My perspectives about, all the things that I believed were true, that I was this, horrible human being and that there was no hope for me, that I wasn't going to be able to sober up. And working with Father Andre and our other mentor, Stan, Alex, who's just new to us, and then other volunteers that he spoke about over the last 4 years, they've basically been there to support me and walk beside me. They don't say, okay, follow behind me and let's see what we can do for you. Ultimately, the people that come to Straight Up, we learn to master our own destiny. So today, you know, I haven't been incarcerated for quite some time because that was part of my journey years ago. And, you know, I've been able to maintain my sobriety for, you know, consecutive years now. I like to think that I'm fairly responsible. Sometimes I miss my credit card payment, but so now it's just a matter of, you know, giving back. When you spoke about sort of what drives people to leave the gang, is either we just get tired of doing it. It's exhausting to try and maintain an addiction, be in and out of jail. And you see, you know, when you look in the world and you see people on TV or see people, you know, other friends and family, and you say, you know, how come I can't have that life like that? I want to have a life like that. And Straight Up is one of the ways that helps people to achieve that.
So it was a bit of a door opening for you that there was an opportunity that existed through Straight Up.
Absolutely.
That didn't otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we back up prior to Straight Up, what was the tipping point for you in terms of, you mentioned it being exhausting. What were some of the things that led you to say, I've had enough and I want to change?
I think there was an estrangement from my family. There had been, you know, no contact for many, many years. Also that I was physically worn out, right, from, you know, doing the drugs and doing the alcohol. And also I think I just got to that point where, you know, throughout my history of being in the gang or being in the high-risk lifestyle, which is what I'll say, because it wasn't all about being in the gang. I was only in the gang for a very, very short time. It was the lifestyle of staying high, staying drunk, and with that came being homeless, jobless, and basically no confidence, no self-esteem. And ultimately, I had arrived at a point in my life where I was either going to kill myself and die, or I was going to get well. And so it was just, you know, a matter of events over 24 hours where I said, okay, I need to change. And, you know, coming back to Saskatoon and really looking for help and knowing that nobody is going to change my life except for me. That was just this shift that happened overnight. So that's the way it was for me. And so everything over the last 3.5 years has been about building success, building confidence, you know, creating a safety of support, networking. You know, I have fantastic people in my life today, people that are my friends, people that know me inside out and backwards and are able to hold me accountable. And not so much in the way where they'll reprimand me, but they can help me to see that, you know, maybe I'm responsible for my own making and to keep making healthy choices. So.
When you were on this new journey in a new lifestyle change, I'd imagine that it just isn't a straight line, bad to good. It might have had some hiccups and so on. What would you say to people that are saying, well, I haven't had a really straight and narrow climb out of where I was? Did you have any pitfalls or ups and downs that you might have experienced?
Mm-hmm. I think one of the conditions and one of the things that we ask for people that are coming into Straight Up is a 4-year commitment. And when we do our presentations in the community to schools, churches, you know, we've done over 2,000 in Saskatchewan. We talk about how, you know, if you're doing all these things one day and then the next day you can't just stop. For me, when I chose to, you know, clean up and get sober, I went to treatment for 30 days, an outpatient treatment program here in Saskatoon. But, you know, I will be recovering for the rest of my life. And over the last 3.5 years, I think there's been maybe 4 or 5 times where I considered, you know, using again, because that's basically what I know. That's what my ego tells me is, you know, just go drink, just go take one, you'll be okay. And ultimately, you know, that's when I have to, you know, when I need help. The one thing that I learned being in that lifestyle is, you know, I tried to do everything alone and I didn't want anybody close to me because I didn't know how to trust people.
Right.
So now, you know, with learning to trust people, I've learned to trust myself. And with the journey of struggle, you know, there's one of the things that we talk about in Straight Up too is, and that's not just with people in the gang, is, you know, the contributing factors of mental illness, grief, abandonment. There's all these core issues that sort of drive people to make the choices where they might end up in a gang and maybe look for that approval and acceptance outside of themselves. So basically, for me, that has been my biggest struggle as far as, learning to trust myself, right? Outside of the gang, outside of the addiction, and really, truly walk in a good way.
With someone, and I guess that's where Straight Up can help. Alex, maybe tell us a bit about some of the employment opportunities and programs that you're working on with the organization.
Sure. So as part of Straight Up, we have members at different stages. Some of their
How many would you be?
in any given year, we deal with anywhere from 50 to about 60 members. Some of them are still incarcerated. Some of them are out in the community right now. Some of them are on parole. Some of them are on probation. But for the most part, we're a program that starts at the street level, so at the grassroots level, basically stabilizing individuals. And that's the first approach. Once they become stabilized, we move into what I like to call a second stage, which is personal development. Talking about your addictions, talking about your trauma, the grief that you've experienced, the violence, which is a large part of it, and looking at some personal development programs that we have put in place. Anger management, healthy relationships. What does that look like? The next stage is more of the employment or education piece that we believe is the new. It's kind of new for us. We've never done it before in the past to this extent. We have members that are now third-year university students. We have members who are now entering into addictions programs and want to become an addictions worker. With the employment piece, I think a lot of times what you have is a lot of members, and this is happens quite a bit. A lot of members go out there and try to get employment, but the thing is they can't maintain employment, and that's where we step in. And with our programming and our unique model, we have a very high confidence that we can maintain individuals to not only obtain employment, but be employed for the long term. And so the employment program acts as twofold. One, it gives opportunity for the individual to learn new skills, well, professional development skills. At the same time, it also helps our members obtain some sort of income. So they don't have to go back to slinging, they don't have to go back to banging. And this is really important for a lot of our individuals because that's how they grow, that's how they get out of that lifestyle, and they continue to get out of that lifestyle. And so the last piece, and that is one of the pieces, is people like Gina, individuals like Gina who come back and offer themselves to Straight Up, and they give themselves 4 years, like Gina was saying, but they're now mentors for us. She's now my hero, and I view that, and I honestly view that wholeheartedly, that she comes back and she helps maybe to a sense that she has now become a leader, and it goes right around. And so everything that a lot of the members have taken away from community, we're now bringing back, and they're helping.
And I think that's one of the most important things that Straight Up has to offer is that it's a very intimate connection, and it can help each individual at their own pace and in their own environment. And I really think there's opportunities for both government and business to get involved with that. I want to thank you both so much for making time for us today. That's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests Darlene, Jorgina, and Alex, and thank all of you for watching. I'm Randy Shabilo. We'll see you next time on Connect.
Connect with us and let us know your thoughts about the topics discussed today or any future story ideas. Tweet Shaw TV Connect, find us on Facebook, email shawtvconnect@shaw.ca, or call us at 306-665-3796.